This is a tale of ancient times. Also, this is my 7 Deadly Sins review. Welcome to yet another anime review with me, your host, Randomness, where I watch the first season of an anime that you guys choose for me to watch, and then I review it. This is the one on the 7 Deadly Sins. I know some of you have been waiting for this. The holidays was a little bit crazy, so it's a little bit late. I'm sorry, guys, but here it is. So without any further ado, grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's jump into it. Roll the intro. Now, let's start with the rundown of who these characters are in the basic story. It all starts with Elizabeth, who is the Princess of Britannia, which this show, I'm going to already say, gave me like Dungeons and Dragons type vibes. And she walks into this tavern, which is owned by a seemingly young man named Meliotis and his pig, Hawk, who is named Hawk. And she's looking for these legendary warriors that disappeared, known as the 7 Deadly Sins. What they are accused of, though, is killing the general of the Legion of Knights that protect her and her family, the king, the Holy Knights. Now, the Holy Knights aren't so holy. In fact, they are pieces of shit. Although some of these Holy Knights prove themselves to be alright, decent people. But it's not often. They're like really overpowered. And anyway, Elizabeth gets wind that things aren't what they seem with the Holy Knights. And they're actively looking for her. And she is looking for the Sins. Unbeknownst to her, she finds Meliotis, who is the leader of the Sins. And the whole first season is them assembling the Sins once again and finding them. There is Meliotis, as I've said. There's Elizabeth. They find Diane. They say it Diane, who is, I wrote in my notes, she is the sin of envy, a giantess with the most strength. Also, she is just really jealous of Elizabeth because Meliotis and Elizabeth kind of have this thing going on. Oh my god, Elizabeth, though. I'm gonna just put a pin in Elizabeth, though, because I have things to say about her. There's Bond, who is the fox sin of greed. And also, he can't die. He can't die. He's kind of an a-hole, a little bit cheeky, but soft to those he loves and allies with. He can't die. So yeah, he drinks from the Fountain of Youth, who was protected by one of the other sins, Kings, who is the leader of the fairies. King is the leader of the fairies, and his sister was protecting the Fountain of Youth, but she gets killed, and she has this romance with Bon, and it is so cute. It's so sad. Hawk, a talking pig who needs to be protected at all costs. That's literally what I wrote. Hawk is hilarious, and Hawk is such a breath of fresh air, honestly, in this entire show, because Elizabeth, I'm going to go ahead and say what I want to say about Elizabeth, because Elizabeth can be so annoying. She is such a Mary Sue sometimes. If I have to hear the words, Sir Meliotis, one more time in either a sad, happy, or scared for him type of way, I will hurt myself. I could not stand Elizabeth sometimes in the show. She just relies on Meliotis so much. But there's this moment where she's like literally being shot at, and she's just walking through this to get to this kid, to save this kid, and she's just getting shot everywhere, and she just doesn't care because like she genuinely is a good character. Like she has so much heart. And I love that about Elizabeth, and she's willing to give up her life for her people and free her people from these evil holy knights. And that's honestly really cool. I love that about Elizabeth. But she can be so much there just for the eye candy. She's there just to be, I guess, the eye candy of the show, along with Diane. Diane kind of rubs me the wrong way. Like, there's this moment where she gets shrunk, and there's this tournament going on. And she gets shrunk, and a whole reason why she, I guess, hasn't had a relationship with Meliotis, because she has a crush on Meliotis. And she's like, oh, I'm shrunk now, we can get together and have kids. And I'm like, Diane, please, no. No, please, please, no. Oh, God. But this show was so good. Let me talk about the good things, and then I'm gonna keep talking about what I guess I'll just keep talking about what I didn't like. I didn't like the sexual bits. Like, I'm not a person that likes sexual bits in an anime. I'm more of a plot-driven person. I like more comedy in my anime, which this had. But a lot of the jokes were sexual jokes, which I didn't really appreciate, kind of. But underneath the fan service that seems to be going on there's actually a really good story. All the characters have such good character growth. Bond's story particularly is so well written to me. I loved Bond's whole story. They each have their own story going on and their own fears and their own, like, motivations for reuniting, and it's so good. This show is like, it's like a cake. It has your fan service as the icing, you know, for those people that are there for the fan service, but underneath, this show is so artistically good and also just narratively good. The animation style is so unique. The fight scenes are so well choreographed. It's beautiful. Some of the fight scenes are just beautiful in this shonen anime. The characters are well defined. I already said that. The battles are so brutal, but in a good way. The fights are so brutal, but it's so good. The interconnections between things that get revealed are like, oh shit, and it hits you later on. Like, when King has this thing, when we meet King, he is trying to kill Bond in revenge for his sister, oh my god, I lost his sister's name, Elaine. The sister's name is Elaine. But when it hits you that that Elaine is not only dead, but the sheer fact that King has things all wrong and is like, no, Bond and her actually were together, like, they were falling in love, like, dude, you have things wrong. And when you realize the way that she died, and that's the reason why why Bond has this basically immortality, because she was like kissing him and was giving him the water from the fountain of youth to save his life instead of hers. It's like, yo, like, it hits you. The show, it's not original, but it feels original. Like, it has so much that kind of separates itself, but it still fits in with what you typically want in a shonen anime. Meliotis, though, does seem a bit OP. He seems a little bit overpowered, and it doesn't feel, even when he's knocked out, even when he's KO'd, it doesn't feel as gravity as you feel like it should be. Like, you know, Meliotis is this big, powerful being, and he doesn't really contend with anyone that could really stand up and kick his ass. Like, he gets his ass kicked, but, like, you know he's gonna be okay, if you know what I mean. That's really what I gotta say. This show was so well choreographed. It was so good. But it's covered in that fan service icing. Elizabeth, yeah, Mary Sue, yeah, why? Why is she saying, Sir Meliotis, Sir Meliotis, Sir Meliotis, like every 5 seconds? Can you just call him Meliotis? Why do you have to keep calling him Sir? Elizabeth, you are a princess. Get a backbone, please. Now, like I said, I only watched the first season of these shows, but, like, it seems like it's Sir Meliotis every 2 seconds. Please, Please, if I watch the second season, does this get better? Does she quit being such a Mary Sue? Please, please, God, let me know. Please, spoil that for me. Does Elizabeth have any more character growth? Please, let me know. I am dying to know. There's just a lot of times where the Sins fought each other, likely because that they are the only ones that can really stand up to each other, it feels like. Not a whole lot of the Holy Knights feel like they can really defeat the Sins. The Sins feel so on another level against these Holy Knights that, yes, are also overpowered, but, like, you know, the Sins can kick their butts. I mean, Bon is immortal, and King is a fairy, which I'm going to assume is also immortal, and Meliotis is like a freaking demon lord. I mean, you see? So I feel like that's a reason why they had the Sins fighting each other a lot. Like, the whole tournament arc I talked about earlier, there's just a lot of scenes where, like, the most gripping fight I saw was Bon versus Meliotis, and that actually had some kind of gravitas to it. But it just felt like they had a lot of reasons to make the Sins fight each other. But that's really what I gotta say about this. I'm giving this show a 9 out of 10. It was so good, but like I said, the sexual stuff, maybe, I'm probably gonna give it a 7. Because the sexual stuff is just, it's not what I'm there for. I know it's what a lot of other people are there for, but it's not what I'm there for. I'm there for a good story. I watch anime for a good story, to laugh, to have a good time. I don't like anime that make me cry. This didn't really make me cry. I didn't really feel sad when anyone got their butts kicked because I knew they were going to be okay. So yeah, that's really what I gotta say about 7 Deadly Sins. First season. Also, now, to the shout out in the show I'm going to be watching now. Coming in with a whopping 2 likes from you guys in the community, I'll be watching, drumroll, Cowboy Bebop next. I'll be watching the first season of Cowboy Bebop, and when I do the next poll, what happens with the poll is I'll make it in a community post, and I'll ask you guys what show should I watch / review next. You leave 1 comment with 1 anime, and if it gets enough likes from everyone in the community, the show that gets the most likes will be the next show I watch / review next. Also, you get a shout out. So shout out to this person. If they have a channel and they post content, go give them a subscribe. That's it. I love you all, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.